Yep, I'm back and I've got some urgent updates for you guys. I'll give you all the usual bullshit about why podcasters stop podcasting at the end of this, but first we need to cover some important stuff related to your e-commerce sites. So Chrome 56 and Firefox 51. Man, Google and Mozilla are dragging us into a more secure future, kicking and screaming. And we have no option but to follow them. And I have no option but to lend a hand. You see, Chrome 56 and Firefox 51 are both just coming out of beta right now. And by the time I publish this, both of these browsers should be in the process of being pushed out worldwide to all your users. And sorry for the late notice on this, but I said excuses later. So what's so important about Chrome 56 and Firefox 51? Well, the writing's been on the wall for non-encrypted sites for years now. And these two browsers are their death knell. When I last left you guys, I was trying to convince you to move your entire Magento site onto HTTPS. Well, it's a year later, and if you didn't listen to me then, you're gonna have to start feeling the pain from Google and Mozilla very soon. Both of these companies, and I swear they're in league with each other, let's just call them the Browser Cabal. They've started injecting warnings to your customers on your login pages and credit card forms which are not encrypted. They're both taking slightly different approaches here, but in effect, it's the same. We're talking about an interface change to actively scare browser users into distrusting sites with no encryption. And yeah, this is live right now, making your websites look, well, non-secure. If you're all in on HTTPS, like I encouraged you to do last year, you should be fine. But if you weren't convinced by my ranting then that wave just came crashing down on you. Even worse, Google has signaled their intention to mark all non-encrypted pages red in the future. That red warning, by the way, is similar to the one they use today for bad certificates. Firefox is going to be a little bit nicer and show a lock with a red strike through. Actually, just as bad. Look, it doesn't matter what each browser is showing. The world is moving towards encryption by default, and if you care for your customers, you should also. And really, in the day and age of Let's Encrypt, you have no excuse not to have a modern, solid certificate on your servers. On a grander view, we're seeing a pattern. Google, then Mozilla, were the ones pushing to sunset SHA-1 signed certificates, which you should all be off of by now. I mean, we talked about this back in 2015, and they've seen relative success with it. So now they're throwing their weight around and pushing sites to start making everything encrypted. And really, we have no choice but to go the way they're going right now. Chrome is the most popular desktop browser, and Firefox is second. So when these guys say jump, online merchants have to say, how high? I'm sorry, it's the reality of the situation. And honestly, they have no choice but to use their power. You see, the problem is the technology industry has a lot of inertia when it comes to security. We don't change stuff unless we really, really have to. And sometimes we need companies with this much power over us to get us moving a little bit. And as I said, we're lucky that they're not abusing their power with this. Okay, panic mode over. No one takes excuses. This isn't my regular background because I am halfway around the world in Spain right now. After my last episode, probably about a year ago, I have been traveling non-stop, and as it turns out, it's really hard to do anything on a consistent basis when your life is so spontaneous. Anyway, I'm in one spot in Spain for a couple months, and I finally got a new camera plus dumped a whole bunch of cash on Final Cut Pro. So I'll be picking up the SSL series where we left off on performance myths. Also, I'll try to include some what's happening in e-commerce security and what I think about it episodes, because that's what you guys have been asking for. You could actually consider this to be the first episode of that new series. And the summary for today's video is, I told you so, encrypt your site, big bad Google and Mozilla are coming for you. Yeah, that sums it up. And I'm forgetting one thing. How do I usually end these videos? Oh yeah, a helpful link that if you have it, it'll make this entire video unnecessary. This one comes from Ivan Ristich. If you go to TALESH/https-history, you'll get a pretty comprehensive timeline of the history of encryption and the public key infrastructure on the web. And at the very bottom, you'll see some of the information we talked about today and some future changes on the roadmap. But that's it for now. See you guys in a couple of weeks.